Hey, it's the Nerdy Sports Fan. We're giving out draft grades. We're wrapping up the AFC West. We've already knocked out the Raiders, Chiefs, and Broncos. So let's get into these superchargers, all right? So, Los Angeles Chargers, in my mind, needed more than anything else something to let the fan base coalesce around. They needed somebody who could sell jerseys, get asses in the seats, and actually create a fan base where currently there really isn't one. So I would have loved if the Chargers had the stones to trade up with Detroit and get themselves Tua Tagovailoa. That didn't happen. Justin Herbert is the next best quarterback prospect. You needed a quarterback, you got your quarterback. Okay, he does not move the needle in the way that Tua Tagovailoa does. So I'm not high on Justin Herbert. I'm not low on him. He's just kind of the right guy for the selection based off of the situation you were handed. And again, I would have appreciated it if the Chargers would have affected that situation a little more than they did, instead of just accepting what was given them. Moving on from that, they trade up and they get Kenneth Murray. There are only two players in my mind that are worth trading up for. That is your quarterback, which again you should have done, and the leader of your defense, your play calling middle linebacker. And that's what they got. Kenneth Murray is one of the great human beings to come out of the draft. Anybody who has interviewed this man, any coach who has been a part of this man's life, says he is a fantastic person in the locker room and off the field. That's exactly the kind of person you want to build your chemistry around, build the culture of the team around. So I think he's a huge addition to this roster. You have an absolute glut of defensive talent on this roster. It is a fast defense that gets after the quarterback and covers extremely well. They have probably the best defense in the league for handling teams like the Chiefs. So adding to that, somebody who's already extremely, extremely fast and can fly sideline to sideline as well, I think it's great. With the talent you've amassed on this defense, I think it's a fantastic addition to make a strength even stronger. So kudos on the trade up to get Kenneth Murray. Joshua Kelly is a meh for me. There were other better running backs in this draft. They were all taken by this point. So you definitely needed to address running back. Austin Eckler cannot carry the entire load all season. Melvin Gordon's gone. Good riddance. So Joshua Kelly will be effective at what you need him to be effective with. So, but again, I'm not crazy high on him as a player. Joe Reed as a wide receiver, a lot of people really, really like Joe Reed. I just think as far as this team goes, the likelihood of him making a dent in this receiving core is slim. It's an extremely, extremely talented wide receiver room. It maybe not the depth that it had a couple of years ago, considering there's been a few that have left and skipped town for the Raiders, but a very strong receiver room nonetheless. So Joe Reed, whereas he's got some talent, I don't see him as somebody making a difference on this roster, at least in this season. Give him a year, maybe two, he might develop into something. But Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, that top end of this receiving room is going to make it so it's very difficult for a young receiver to make a consistent impact on this roster. So I do think that's kind of a wasted pick, if I'm truly honest. Beyond that, Alohi Gilman is an okay pick. I'm actually really high on KJ Hill. I love KJ Hill. I think he was very effective with what he did at Ohio State. He's not KJ Hamler, but you got him in the 7th round. That shows how deep this wide receiver class was. People in the 7th round have a potential to really make an impact. Now, he's going to have to make the roster similar to Joe Reed by proving that he can be effective on special teams. But I like KJ Hill's talent and what he brings to the team. And coming from an Ohio State program, you know that he knows what it takes day in and day out to be a pro. It's one of the better programs in the country. So getting somebody from that program at that level of talent at this position in the draft is very, very strong. Overall, because I'm just kind of meh on a great deal of the picks, I am high on a couple of them for certain. I gave this draft a B. It addresses the team's needs for certain. None of the picks outside of Murray and KJ Hill really wow me for where they were made, though. So I just would have loved to see if the Chargers affecting the draft more by trading and getting into position to get some of the more difference maker players in this draft. Let me know what you think, though. Hit me up in the comments. If you vehemently disagree, if you're just absolutely in love with Justin Herbert, I'd love to hear about it. Check out the other videos to see what I think about the other teams' ability to affect this draft. And like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Also, hit me up on Patreon. This year, fantasy football, it's right around the corner. If you need help setting your lineup week to week, if you need help setting your draft board, I'm your man. Thanks for watching, guys.